Mr. Kevin Yang.
Hello there.
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Nothing much.
It feels like yesterday.
Dude, yeah, I wanted to thank you because this is episode 51, and I can't believe I did like 50 of these things already.
Yay! We love that.
And it was kind of thanks to you because we were sitting on the couch one day. It was like during COVID in 2020.
20? I think so.
Yeah, 2020, and we're just being like lazy bums on the couch, just talking about ideas after playing like Mario Kart, and we're like, what do we do? Like, I always wanted to talk about like do a podcast and like all these things, and Kev was like, let's record it right now, and I'm like, okay. Then we went in the back. I had just like one mic in the center at the time, like. It was so bad, but we did it, you know? And then like it kind of got the momentum going, and like I know I would have started eventually, but I just wanted to say thank you for like making me start like that exact day.
Of course. I couldn't take too much credit. I felt like it was a mutual contribution, definitely. Because we were talking about it on the couch, and you were like, I feel like you're always the person that is very much, let's get this idea rolling. Because I think I like to throw ideas out, and then you're like, oh, that's a good idea. And then we ran with it. But you're the one who's like, we can do it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we? And you're like, yeah, we can. And I think we moved the table to the office in the back.
Yeah.
And just kind
Oh
of
yeah,
set up
you had the idea, and then and then you were like, "This dude probably won't follow up with it right now. I just wanted to put it out there." And then you're like, "Wow,
yeah.
he's actually doing it."
Yeah, I think you're the one who followed up with it. We moved the table to the office, and it was very impromptu, but yeah, it happened.
Dude, that feels like yesterday.
Yeah, and then it's 2022.
Yeah, and you're already halfway done with grad school.
I know.
I've had like 3 more jobs since then.
Wait, for real, you have. We definitely, I feel like it's been a very transformative 2 years.
Yeah. I think we've grown in a lot of ways. What do you call it? Your personal training for you kind of like skyrocketed.
In a way, yeah. In a way, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think finding my kind of family and community in LA, starting with 2022, I felt like that was a building point for me.
Yeah.
So that kind of really helped.
That's funny too, because I thought like when I first met you, you already had this like family and community in LA.
Yeah.
Because like you've been here longer, you already went through your 4 years at UCLA, and I was like, oh, he's got it together. He has his family, he has his community. And then like when I moved in with you,
you're like, no.
Well, no, it wasn't that. It's just like all these people that you were networking with and met. Like I thought they were your family and community because that's how you treated them, let alone like finding out later or meeting them. That was like the first or second time, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, whoa, Kev didn't know these people before. Like I just assumed that like if someone comes into the house, okay guys, this is history just because me and Kev don't live together anymore. But this is during the time at the house. I would always assume when someone comes over to the house, like, oh, Kev's known him for 5 years, and they're best friends, and it was only because like you treated them that way. Like any person that you've like, I guess met who I've experienced like on a first hand basis or first impression basis is just like, I love you, come here, like we're best friends.
I definitely have that. That's very me, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think I am really good at reaching out to people, whether it's over social media or in real life. And I feel like when I vibe with somebody, I kind of approach or treat them as if we've like known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think energy is a very tangible thing for me.
Sure.
In which whenever I discern someone's energy, I think I could tell instantly if I could vibe with someone.
What do you think makes you different from like the other random person who like hits someone up online or like talks to them in person, because like some people, especially online, just won't respond. They're like, this dude's like weird, why is he hitting me up, he doesn't know me.
I think it's
And in right?
Yeah, no, it's true.
And then in person it's like less, but in their head it's like, why is this guy talking to me like I don't know him? Like, but it's the same like concept, right?
I think it's definitely
And everyone respond. I mean, like most people who you have like put an effort to hitting up online, and most people who you have an effort in like talking to in person, like getting to know them, it like is usually pretty good.
Yeah, I think
Not pretty good. I mean, like it's like you make it happen.
Yes.
You make the contact happen.
I feel like for me, I think reaching out to people usually for me comes with a purpose.
Okay.
Whether it's to kind of like collaborate on a photo shoot, to work out, or just to kind of network. I think I rarely reach out to people just to network. I think I always reach out to people to either collaborate or to or because we have a mutual interest.
Yeah, I think it's unintentional networking too, because like you'll hit up people who inspire you,
Yes,
and who
yes.
like you're a big fan of, not really expecting any response, and then you get a response, and you're like, whoa, that was cool.
I think that's one of the, I think we said it before in our first episode on podcast, is that LA is a city where I think the reason why I do like LA a lot is because it's a city that doesn't make young people feel bad for not having a traditional 9 to 5. It's a city in which entrepreneurship and creating your own career matters as much as finding one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of people doing their own thing. We've both known people who are kind of leading a very untraditional life and career, and are very successful at doing so.
Yeah.
So those people,
I would say plenty.
And I kind of, that is very inspirational. We both aspire to kind of lead similar pathways,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a different way to get there, but I feel like learning from people that inspire us is definitely, you've done similar things too. I feel like when you look up to somebody, you kind of reach out to them, and not in any way to try to like intentionally network, but just to be like, hey, let's have a conversation. If you have time, you have time. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that type of expectation, things
Well,
usually go.
I think I am that way because I'm just interested in a lot of things. Like,
You are. You definitely are.
for
yeah.
example, I was like for the bitters company, I'm trying to figure out all the legalization stuff, and I met this guy at a bar the other day who actually went through. He has a small bitters company in LA as well. You know, like I knew about the company, but I didn't know he was the owner of it. And right away I'm asking like questions like, oh, that's awesome, man. Like maybe we should like share bitters, and then I just started going into like what I didn't know about the company. Like, oh, like, did you end up doing all the legal tax and trade bureau stuff by yourself, all these other things? And like, since I was like nice about it and just like kind of slid it slightly in there, he was like, oh yeah. And that's I only asked that one question, and that gave me some information that like I needed. I mean, in terms of like I can do it.
Yeah.
And like it didn't. He was just nice about it. Like it wasn't too much.
Also, I think one thing we kind of, it's not something that we talk about because we don't realize it, is the energy that we carry.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really important too, is that
what's your definition of energy? Because like if you're describing it that way, you have to know what you mean by energy.
Wow, that's a great question. That's very native of you to be so poignant with the questioning. I think my definition of energy is it's a combination of how you present yourself to the world versus the version of yourself that you show no one else but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's your default mood. And because you're so often in your default mood when you go to sleep, when you're by yourself, when you wake up, most of the time, that kind of carries on unconsciously. So if you wake up at 5:30 every morning and you work out, if you read like a book every other week or every week, or in your case like every day,
I don't read that much anymore. Don't give me that much credit.
that even though you don't do that in front of people, it's something that will come up in conversation. It's something that will come up in the way that you respond to someone's question. for example, like if you read financial books, if someone were to talk about something, you would kind of have a base of foundation to kind of choose to interact with that conversation with the context
Yeah,
given.
that's not really energy though.
Well, the way that you interact with people and the way you say the things that you say, in my definition of energy, is part of that, because it's how you present yourself. To only, it's kind of like a habit that you build, and therefore it comes off to people in terms of conversations or the way you approach people. Like if you wake up at 5:30 every morning to work out, that means you're a very punctual person, which you are. It's the way you show up to kind of a meetup or an appointment. You're probably like 15 minutes early, that type of person. So that kind of, that's energy too, like that you carry into the room. So it's one of those, it's those intangibles. Like so like we both know friends who are dating people, and not to like name drop anybody, not name drop.
Wait, what are we talking about right
this
now?
is a tangent, but like not to sorry, name drop is the wrong word. We can delete this later. Not to like name anybody, but they're friends of ours who dated people, and immediately you and I have talked about it. We're like, I feel like our friend deserves so much better in terms of the person they kind of chose to kind of interact with, not even date. They just kind of met up.
Sure.
And not saying anything bad about the person they're choosing to date or spend time with, but then there are people that we meet that they choose. We're like, wow, we really love that person. I really hope that they go somewhere.
And we usually agree on that.
And I feel like it makes me more confident because I really trust you as a person with those intangibles that you carry. So your discernment is something that I trust. So when we agree on the discernment of a person, it kind of is further proof to me that our not ability but our like capacity to read people's energy is honed through our life experiences.
Why do you think it's like that? Because a lot of people will get along with others who, like, for example, looks or like it does everything by the book. They just look the part, but then like later down the road they didn't see, I guess, those energies that you're talking about, the bad characteristics that came out that me and you would have possibly seen.
Honestly, you and I can't see everything.
I know.
But the things that we do see, maybe just, I feel like, I don't know the answer to that, but I would like to believe it's because to some degree.
Guys, we're really high, by the way. So this is nothing fact.
I feel like, okay, this is what my theory. First of all, I don't believe that you and I have ability to discern people to like.
Yes, that's my point.
We're not like X-rays.
That came off the wrong way.
Where we can just see people for what they like, the entirety of their history.
Yeah,
we can't do that. That's not us. But we do have a really good group of friends around us.
Yeah, no, we
have amazing people in our lives.
It's really weird. Me and Kev, like we were talking about, we built like these circles out here, these communities, these families in LA that I believe truly feel like home. Like LA truly feels like home now
because of the people in it.
And I feel like you feel the same way too.
I do.
But the thing is, like, some of our circles aren't even close to each other, but we've somehow found out like they interlock, you know?
Yeah, they like overlap.
Like I've met someone who knows Kev, or Kev's met someone who knows me, and we're like,
what are the odds?
What are the odds?
So I think because we're so used to having a good community around us, we know what good energy and good friendship and good peer relationship. There's a word for relationship for peers, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But that, and
being a good friend is like a skill.
It is. It's not a ability you're born with. I feel like it's something that you have to like keep practicing, just like a relationship. Like to be a good friend, like I think you taught me that, is to be able to like show up, but also not just kind of like, because I think like you and I, you know my intention to always be pure, but there's sometimes I feel like I haven't always shown up in the past in terms of like friendship, but that's because like I feel like it's just me prioritizing other relationships in my life in the past has taught me like the wrong lessons in terms of if you have the best interest for a person, even if you don't show up sometimes, but like you love them, so like they should know that too. So it's kind of like forgivable, But I think because now I've learned that it's more so something that you work on.
Yeah, but everyone's also like human, dude. Like people forget things. Like
Yeah.
if I don't think if I didn't use my calendar and wrote down like workout with Kevin Chaz, like meet banker, like go to work, like
Things
go
would
to
be-
work out, like I wouldn't I would forget shit too. You know,
Yeah.
like, and like, okay, to be a better friend, I have to be good at a calendar. That doesn't make sense objectively, but it makes sense, you know.
It does. Before we go off a tangent, to answer your question of why you think we could discern people, I
come
think
back
it's
around.
because we're so used to having good people in our lives. And when I mean good people, like all of our friends, truly will. If we're stranded in the middle of the desert, like we can call our friends, they will definitely show up. Like
I'm
off the
pretty
top-
sure.
Off the top
I'm
of my
pretty
head,
sure.
like Kiana would, Christina would, like Payne, Kate, Mo,
Yeah.
like these people, like they would show up, and I feel like knowing that, we're so used to having great, amazing people in our lives. So when there are people whose energy who do not match that kind of wavelength, we immediately are able to spot, because when you're around like good air quality for so long and you go to the place where like the air quality is not as good, you can feel the difference. So that's the metaphor I'm choosing to use, and I think that's the reason why.
That's accurate. Yeah. I mean, when I hang around with like negative people who don't give me that good vibe, like I don't feel good. Like I think almost every single one in my life who's a good friend of mine works hard, is kind to people, is very generous, very positive, not a lot of negative energy, has healthy relationships. Like it's a good freaking group of super creative humans who, like, you know.
It just made me think of Kuba, our friend who's getting married in Poland. Shout out to Kuba.
Yeah, we're gonna come visit you in Europe pretty soon.
He's somebody. I love the metaphor that our friend has used. Kuba's like a Ferrari that he only drives out like twice in a year because he's so very routine based and consistent, not only with his like physical regimen but with his friendship regimen. Not regimen, sorry, regimen is the wrong word for friendship, but like how he cares for his friendship, his relationship with his fiance Dami, and how like his career, he's like very on it. And I think like every time when I hang with Kuba, I feel like extra motivated because I see the way that he approached life. Whereas like when I'm not around him, when I'm like maybe with people who aren't on it the way he is, nothing wrong with that. I'm not like on that level either, but you feel the difference. Sometimes you want to emulate greatness by being around them. So I was just like, oh, like I want to be.
No. I think that's the truest thing because it's like if you're at the gym by yourself versus some dude who's slightly better than you, and you're gonna lift until he lifts because you want to be as ripped as he is, you know, like it's that competitive like mindset to just get something that's better, you know, or achieve something more.
It's like especially when someone is close. I think that's why like our relationship worked really well. Is like okay.
I don't know why a relationship works really well. You tell me.
Okay, so I think imagine if we were to lift with Arnold
Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who I don't know why I caught him on the first name basis. Like I know the person, but I don't know him.
I was like, all right, dude. You know Arnold tight now?
But imagine if you're lifting in the gym with someone who's like as legendary as he is. You're gonna be inspired, but you're not gonna be able to like emulate or kind of. I'm not gonna be able to do the amount of bench press that he does.
Sure.
But you and I feel like we have a lot of common interests, and we have a lot of different interests.
Yeah.
So we put each other on in like terms of like different aspects of like you put me on into the world of alcohol and. That sounds really bad. But the world of
Kev's an alcoholic now, guys.
the world of
he drinks a solid 4 shots a year now.
I feel like you showed me the art of mixology, and I feel like nowadays when people talk to me about different like drinks, and I see the artistry in it too.
Yeah.
I see how like much the difference between a seasoned bartender and a bartender who probably is just kind of learning, or a bartender who's just, you know, the party bartender.
Yeah.
Like the difference. And then the drinks I've had, you've like made for me. I'm just like, wow, this is I could do this.
Yeah.
I could do this.
He's like, there's alcohol in this, guys?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think introducing each other to different things is a great sign of a friendship, in terms of if you're too similar, then you're not really kind of growing in different ways. But also we are similar in some ways, and therefore we push each other. And we're also pretty much like, okay, like the way we work out is similar, and we're like, you have stronger areas in some type of workouts, and I have stronger areas in some.
Yeah, dude.
So,
I was trying to do a pistol squat today, and I couldn't do it. My mobility's fucked.
and so that difference, that very subtle difference, is what pushes us like a sibling. We have a very sibling-like relationship.
Yeah, I think so.
In which, like, I can't even tell like who's the older person, because even though you're younger, you act so much older.
I get that a lot though.
But also I act like a kid, so I really do, but I really take pride in that too.
I don't know, bro. There's a lot of people in their like late 30s and 40s out here who be talking about anime nonstop. I'm like, really?
Okay, talking about anime is not a sign of immaturity. Anime is amazing. I could be 50.
I'm sorry. I just associate anime with not adulting. That's just, it's just like that's probably the way that I was just wired from how I grew up.
Okay.
Like you see a cartoon, that means like kid show.
Okay, but Avatar.
No, I know. No, I like Avatar. It's a cool cartoon. I like it.
I feel like cartoons and animes have taught me.
I'm not trying to insult anyone
lessons.
who loves anime, by the way. I'm fucking around.
I don't think you are, because I know that you too enjoy the episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Me and our friend Kaylin took Nate to this movie. It was Demon Slayer.
What was it?
It was the Demon Slayer movie.
Okay.
And
it was like
Nate has not seen an episode of Demon Slayer. You can probably tell he don't really watch anime like that.
Yo, I'll watch the shit out of Avatar though.
Right, true. But for Demon Slayer, we took you to the movie, and you had no prior knowledge of what you were getting yourself into. So the entire movie, you were so lost, but you still had a good time. So
it was good, but I was just so confused. It's like, I don't know. It's like looking at a relationship that you see from afar, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, this doesn't make sense.
Wait, that's a really good yeah, that's a good analogy.
And then I got out, I was like, yeah, it was dope. I have no clue what it was. I don't know like what was happening there, but
did it add to your life?
It added to my life because now I have that memory with you and Kaylin, and that's special.
There we go. Yeah, it's a great anime. It's one of my favorites at the moment. It's very, very sad, but I love it.
Yeah. So, dude, you've been obsessed with, from especially talking to you the last couple of years now, like with stories, with like movies. You're one of the only people who are not in the industry that I know of. No, like aren't
who religiously watch movies.
Yeah, you're not in the movie industry, you know, who
yeah.
like literally you watch movies, you analyze people analyzing things. So therefore you got the double whammy. You're like, oh, I have their perspective, but then I'm analyzing their perspective, which from my you know? And you already have like it laid out, and then like I don't know what an ending of the movie will mean, and you're like, oh, this is some thing back to Romeo and Juliet.
You just made that shit up because I never talked about Romeo and Juliet, right?
I know, but that was a good like you know what I'm talking about.
Like,
it'd be related to like an old metaphor of like I don't know, like an Odyssey
Wikipedia
story.
Of references, definitely. I feel like I take pride, but also like I need to do something with it because
I've been telling you, I think you do because like I was listening to this podcast today, and it was like follow your efforts or like your attention. So like where's your attention at? Like it's spent on those things. Okay.
Wait, who said that? Follow your attention. I love that.
Oh, I forgot.
Was that from a book?
No, it was a podcast.
Oh, well, if you find that podcast, send it my way, because that's actually a great sentence. Follow your attention.
Yeah, so follow your attention because, like, okay, so you're paying attention to, like, all these things, right?
And you choose to pay attention to them.
without like any yeah. So you pay attention to it and they're like, okay, I'm gonna follow that attention, and then maybe that will grow because I'm already spending that time and energy into the subject that is just like not necessarily for me. I don't get anything out of it, but obviously you do a little bit, maybe subconsciously, because you're giving it your time and attention.
It's like you're not getting paid, nor are you receiving any benefits from giving your attention to this thing, but you're naturally like gravitating towards it for a reason.
Yeah.
So why not just follow your passion? It's kind of like a breaking down what follow your passion means.
Similar.
That was great. Wow. Okay. That was great. I'm about to put that in an Instagram bio or something.
Because like your passion could like some people will not succeed at like a passion. Like for example, you might really fucking love basketball, dude. And I might love basketball. And no matter how hard I love basketball, I'm not gonna be 7'2".
True. Where's this going?
No. So like if basketball is my passion, I won't succeed at it just because, you know? And so like,
oh, that reminds me of this kid. Not this kid. He's not a kid. Yeah.
But like if you're just naturally paying attention to things and you're like, oh, like these books or this subject, this part of history is I'm spending time doing, and we're like, oh, why am I paying attention to this? And then like that sparks like, I don't know. That's my opinion.
I hear you. It reminded me of this kid who you probably don't know, but to the basketball fans who follow like high school basketball or like college or just kind of like, you know, the various different basketball channels not related to Division I or NBA or overseas. There's this kid called Julian Newman.
Julian Newman.
Yes.
Okay.
And when he was younger, I know of him, but I don't know like his entire like what year, blah blah blah. But when he was younger, he was the youngest player to start in a high school varsity team. I could be wrong, could be middle school, but I think it's high school varsity.
Okay.
And he was a prodigy, and he was on like a lot of talk shows. He was on Conan, a bunch of talk shows because he had like great ball handling skills, and he was a prodigy. And fast forwarding to now, this was like maybe a decade or something ago. His height never really grew. I don't want to say his exact height because I don't know, but it's definitely under 5'9", 5'8", 5'7", 5'6", in that range. I could be, not no disrespect to him, just in that range. So being a basketball player, being a guard, that's the position that he plays in. He never that's a huge disadvantage. Yeah. And basketball in the States is so competitive. Yeah. You know, it's the basketball capital of the world. So unfortunately for him, I feel like receiving that amount of attention when he was a kid also didn't help with, you know, just kind of like when you got so much so soon, you mentally, you kind of react very strongly to criticisms and, you know. So there's a lot of videos of him like getting just kind of his butt handed to him by competition. At some point, I think his dad even, let me not criticize anyone's parenting style, but anyway, like he basically, he got a lot of following on basketball communities and YouTube channels and stuff like that. Yeah. So his skill is, he's a good player, but not a great player. Probably not good enough to be in the D1 level. But if he just kind of like maybe kept his head down and worked really hard, maybe he could like play overseas or play like D2, D3, and just enjoy basketball for what it is. Sure. But I think the expectation, the bar was set so high, and he was just kind of was limited by, you know, the height, which is something you can't teach. Yeah. And he also doesn't have the best personality and attitude. Yeah. There's a lot of videos of him like going off on people and stuff like that. So that didn't help with when you're not teachable and coachable. That's also a big intangible. So when you said what you just said just now, I realized that a lot of people are limited by a lot of things, even though they're passionate about it. But you can still kind of like, it sounds really bad, but you don't have to be a basketball player for the rest of your life, but you can be in the industry of basketball. You could be maybe coaching, you could be assisting, you could be broadcasting, you could be in journalism. Yeah. it might not be what you set out to become,
But you could still be part of
you
it.
can still be a part of it.
Yeah.
And your attention's there anyway, and
Yeah.
you do have something to offer. But anyway, that's just my
Yeah.
little tangent.
What's your attention? What's your time and attention spending on now most days?
Well, I just finished summer school at USC.
Yeah, how is school? How has this year been? What did you learn in school that?
What did I learn this?
Yeah, what did you learn in school? Dude?
What did I learn this year?
Yeah, you were there for a whole year.
I was.
You're a whole grad student for a whole year,
It was
bro.
my first year at USC Roski. It's like, oh, my professor's gonna listen to this.
Put it in a sentence.
I
learned to ...
I learned that art school is a interesting institution. I also learned that West Coast and East Coast, the culture, in regards to my major is curatorial arts, I guess. Specifically, it's called the Curatorial Practice in the Public Sphere program.
Mm-hmm.
It's an MA program. We do take classes in conjunction or like with MFA students, Master of Fine Arts students,
Mm-hmm.
and MFA design students who are MFA Master of Fine Arts, but like more geared towards design. So I enjoyed my time in grad school kind of meeting these really amazing creative minds.
Yeah, how is it to be like that? Because like I feel like I'm surrounded by creative people when it's like scattered around like my entire like life.
Yeah.
And you're have this one room that you go to a few days a week, and it's just like really, really, really artistic, creative people who like think extremely outside the box. That's like totally away from like that very structured culture. You know.
I would say that first of all, like all artists are people, and I just really love the people in my program and people in the school. They're just really, whoever did the admissions did a great job of like bringing in really kind and genuine people. I think like with artists, we've both known artists, this is an interesting thing. We both know people who are artists, whether they are dancers, whether they're entertainers, whether they're like painters, sculptors, whatever the format.
Who?
Well,
No, like you said.
me
And you.
Me and you. We
Okay.
both know artists who are good at their art, who are amazing at their art.
Yeah.
But perhaps as a person, they may not be the most support. They might not be the best person in terms of like personality, in terms of like how you kind of interact.
I mean, that's the whole marketing thing, bro. Like, people like the product, and if the product's not like good, it's negative or like whatever in that way, they won't gravitate it regardless of how good that product is.
Exactly, and I feel like it's easy we both admire so many musicians and so many martial artists
I feel
and
like
people who are like good at art.
musicians more so. I
feel like
I don't know that many artists.
I've come over to your place and you're like bumping Tiny Desk and like listening to people. I was like, okay, Nate, like you really like.
It's like my select few though. I
Hey,
got like
but
10.
you curated or cultivated a taste for yourself.
Sure, yeah.
And you're willing to kind of once in a while to go out of that not bubble, but like that little curated range and go find some new stuff. Because once in a while you put me on new things. I was like, oh, like Chico was a great artist that you put me on.
Yeah,
Tiny
Chico's
Desk. I was like,
dope.
wow, amazing. So, but what I was trying to say is that being a good artist doesn't mean you're a good person.
Mm-hmm.
But being a good person and a good artist, I love those people. I love that, and I feel like my classmates, my friends are just amazing people who see the world in a very kind and loving lens.
Mm-hmm.
So that when they like kind of go through their practice, whether it be painting, whether it be sculpting, performance, mixed media, I feel how genuine they're like the perspective they're coming from.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel, it gives me a lot of like hope and just like, wow, maybe they can impact the world with art.
Yeah.
And
What's your definition of art?
wow, that's such a good question. Holy crap. Imagine if I don't have an answer and I'm a curatorial student. I think art is anything creative.
Okay.
Yeah, so anything you kind of, that's such a vague answer, but I don't really have a good one.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because the second question is that's like, what's your like definition of like creativity? Like making things, like like
Making things from the unique perspective, and I feel like if you can find your, if you can find the lens you use to examine the world,
mhm.
and whatever format you want to express your perspective, it doesn't have to be a painting. It could be a choreography. It could be
Yeah.
music.
Why do you think it makes it so valuable, bro? Because it wasn't until I started hanging out with you and like your dancer friends and I started dating dancer that
You know more dancers than I do now. Yeah.
huh?
You're dating a dancer who's on tour.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouts out Key.
Yeah, Kiana, if you
What were
listen
you
to this
talking about?
podcast, your man's doing great.
I'm good. What was I talking about? Artists. Oh yeah. So I didn't know it was until I hung out with you guys. I was I was listening to this music, and then you guys played a music video of like dancers dancing to the music, right? And then I was like very good dancers dancing to like songs that are like known, and I was just blown away with like how much more impacted I was by that song because I was just seeing these like dancers like do their thing, and I was like, wow, music is so much better because of this visual of dancers. And like I was like, how does that make sense though? But it does.
I love when a music video or choreography or something accompanying the music makes the music better. And it's kind of like, that's what kind of art is that you've hung around with Kiana, your girlfriend, our friend, many times in which she's kind of freestyling to like a song that she likes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's kind of like language, if I tell you I love you, I can express that in like, I could write down a note and pass it to you and say, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I can draw a heart and pass it to you. I can film a video of me like doing like crazy gestures and send it to you.
Sure.
I can also yell it at you, like sound wise. I can also make a piece of painting or do something and kind of like to convey that. So it's just different ways of conveying something.
Mm.
So it's like different languages, visual, audio, and sometimes even touch. Like there's different like senses that people tap into. So
Yeah.
when you see a choreography, a music video, like off the top of my head, like Casio, that's like our song. So that's a beautiful song.
Dude. Well, the thing is, like, I wouldn't describe it as beautiful. The song.
It's very jazzy and free-spirited.
No, I would see it beautiful if I saw the music video.
Yes.
Like when you're thinking about the song, you're just like, oh, this is cool. You watch the video and it's a beautiful music video, beautiful music. That's like
a beautiful choreography.
Yeah, like everything.
The whole thing comes together, and I feel like I love it when the artists kind of plan for that, because that music video is the official music video.
Yeah.
So it was like the song and the choreography came together from the artist's perspective.
Yeah.
But there's also videos that we watch in which a dancer choreographed a piece in response to a song.
Yeah.
So the two are not related, but yet they seem like they are.
Yeah.
It's just like they captured the essence of the song so great.
Yeah.
And so in that sense,
it's like how DJs will add like classic songs to like their beats or whatever, and it'd sound like that was like the original beat. Like they just went together.
Yeah, for example, we love Cautious Clay.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kiana put a song Cautious Clay,
Mm-hmm.
and Cautious Clay has a song called Cold War, and
Played that song way too many times.
a lot of dancers. There's a couple of dancers who kind of like choreographed to that.
Yeah.
It was a remix version of the song, but it was still kind of the essence of it. And then every time they do, it was like contemporary style, like choreography,
Mm-hmm.
with like a lot of different elements. But it just really captured the essence of the song, and it added to the song. It made me like it even more
Mm-hmm.
because of the different interpretation. So I feel like if art is able to encourage you or evoke a sense of creativity or encourage you to create,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's in response or as a inspiration to it,
Yeah,
that's a successful
What
art.
do you think that because I know you and I have this quality, like, but I don't know if everyone does. It might be human nature too, but like when I have an idea or something, like, or something that I want to do or make, like that intuition that I want to make something is there in my head. I was like, I didn't make that button press, like I want to make this or create this or do this podcast or whatever, but it just was a thought in my head that like wanting to create something. And you, it's like photography, I want to shoot this person, I want to shoot that person, like, you know, like, and you already have ideas going in your head without you like putting effort into it, you know? Like where do you think that comes from? Like, do you think everyone has that motive to create something?
100%. I think it comes from, again, going back to what you said about follow your attention.
Yeah.
Every day I view, kind of like, I read like editorial magazines or like online on whether it's on Instagram, on Pinterest, or like sometimes I go back to Tumblr, or just kind of like seeing images that I like, or seeing magazine covers, seeing like Zendaya to the shoot. And that's where like, I think so we have a friend called Caitlin.
Called Kate.
Sorry, KK. It's just, I call KK so much that it doesn't, I don't really, I don't know, like.
Okay, continue.
Her name is Caitlin, but I love the name KK. She's just an amazing kind of poet, visual artist, and gymnast, and just kind of everything. So her and I, like, we share a lot of like inspirational images. When we see something really cool, when we see like an editorial shoot, when we see a concept, we send it to each other, and we have a habit of doing that every day. So when I see maybe a look in which it's kind of maybe a blazer look.
Yeah,
and
I wasn't just talking about you. My question was,
can anybody, right?
Can
so
anybody?
Yeah. If you just kind of cultivate, say like if you want to get into bartending, if you want to get into writing, the first thing you can do, because everybody has the ability to access internet nowadays. Hopefully, like, you know, it's a privilege, but also like hopefully you can. And if you can, you have access to a lot of people who are able to, who've done those things. Yeah. So follow your attention and like just collect a lot of.
You really like that line.
I love it. It might be the theme of this episode. But
follow your attention with Kevin Yang.
You came up with this with Nathaniel Biltz. So I think if you just kind of collect these data of other people successfully accomplishing the things, or like creating new path of a known art or form, like maybe
you're probably going to want to go in some sort of the direction of a comedy.
Yeah, imitation is the first step.
Yeah.
So I feel like
imitating is like you're starting to.
It's learning.
And
a lot of people, you know what? I was coaching a friend of mine today. She's a gymnast. Her name is Emma. Shout out to Emma. Emma. And she was telling me that she is now being asked to choreograph a floor routine.
That's so.
And it surprised me because I know she does a lot of amazing floor routines, and I was like, wait, you've never like choreographed your own floor routine? And she's like, well, in my head, but you know, we have a choreographer kind of choreographs the team's choreography, and but she has the ability to do that already, and now she's being asked to do it, so she's actually really excited. Yeah. So in my head, I was like, wow, so because you've trained so much in that like field in your life, you've built up this vocabulary of things that you can do, and now you're being asked to kind of freestyle and combine these vocabulary in different ways. You've always been able to do it. It's you imitating and practicing.
It's that vocabulary though, because like when someone comes up with a dance moves, or you're a choreographer or you're a dancer, and like they tell you to do these moves, but in your head you don't see you doing a like 360-degree split. Like
I don't know how the mind of a dancer works because I'm not one, but I feel like it's not very stiff in terms of, I want to add A to B to C and form this. You're just kind of flowing because the vocabulary they've practiced and imitated the perfect form for so much, for so many times, that they now embody it fluidly. So I think the fluidity, first you kind of collect the data and try to like look at people that inspire you. Then you imitate. Then you practice and repeat that. And when it comes to the point where this repetition makes the vocabulary fluid and fluent, then you're able to kind of put your own touch and twist on it.
What do you think that point was for you in photography?
I don't think I'm that successful yet at photography, but thank you for like asking the question. I guess
no, because you definitely put your own thing after it. So you definitely went through the process. You know how to use the camera, you know how to edit, and now you're making these photos that are yours.
I think it came from when I first executed a concept that I had in mind from start to finish. It's like I had a concept, I went to find talent to work with, and I pitched this concept. They were on board. Maybe we kind of revisited that concept, and then we went to get styling, and then we went to get makeup, or it doesn't have to be makeup, but like makeup sometimes is a big part of it.
Yeah.
And then we went to get backdrops or find a location, and then we like did the shoot, and me having to work through the shoot and kind of like some models I've worked with. Shout out to Kate, who's just an amazing natural model. I don't have to do much kind of like guidance, but some like honestly, we've done like self photo shoots. And it's tough. That's
Yo,
tough.
I think I took at least 4,000 photos of Kevin the pool until we got one okay one.
I know. And you're a better model than I am. I think I took like
dude, it was probably half the shots, but it still was very long. Like if Kev was. If I was like an hour and a half, Kev was 3 hours. Like it was, but it was still an hour and a half. That's what I'm saying.
This
like,
is why I'm behind the camera.
No, dude, I think it's like a confidence thing, bro.
It is
because
you have
I
to
just
be
had my friend.
unafraid.
I had my friend on a couple episodes ago, who is like a plus size model. Avery, dude, one of the best humans like I've ever like. I haven't known her that long, and she's so kind. And
shout out to Avery.
But dude, her posts, confident, this, that, and you just could see it and feel it like in her eyes and her body, and like her body style positioning. And I'm just like, yo, that's sick. Like if she could do that,
Avery, let's shoot.
if she could do that, like I could do that in terms of just like feel that way. And so because like me and you were so picky, dude, we see like 2 abs instead of 4 or 6. You're like, damn, I have to like diet for 10 days and go do abs every morning.
Yeah.
You know,
and you know what's funny is that as a photographer, I hate it when models do that.
Do what?
When they could be in a great pose and it could be an amazing photo, but they don't choose it and pick it because maybe there's a flyaway here, or maybe because they feel like their arm doesn't look very toned the way it is, and I feel like, oh, that's something that
just how we just described us,
right? So it's funny because then when I finally did it, I was like, I totally get it, because you see yourself in a certain light, and the photographer is more concerned with the overall composition,
and from behind the camera,
the camera. So naturally, we will gravitate towards different photos because the concept is kind of what the photographer is trying to like execute. But of course, keep in mind the model wants to present themselves in the best light. Yeah. And it's
terms
natural.
of like how she or he looks.
Yeah.
Versus the artistic portrait.
Yes. And I think having that experience of like us two like just trying to get in front of the camera and shoot each other was like, wow, I totally get how it definitely actually any photographers should try to shoot themselves. It's a good practice. Yeah. Wow, that's nice. I need to listen to my own advice. Yeah, that's actually really nice.
I think it's too like people aren't used to seeing themselves on camera all the time.
Oh, so much.
And like it's a weird concept in this technological age where like your life is a lot of it spent on your phone, you know? And like if you need to drive from here to the airport, I'm not getting there with a map and compass. Like I'm using my GPS, like I'm on it all the time. And so like this is part of who you are, and therefore like all these social media platforms, you're trying to portray like the best version of you, if that's like looking good, feeling good or whatever. And obviously there's the caveat of like people showing the worst sides and stuff, but it's mostly like I'm glamorous, here's me, this is me with a 10-pack even though I don't have it anymore. You know, like
one thing I would say about is that so much of the images in a movie set or on social media, like you said, it's the highlights. And for example, the new Thor movie is out. Have you seen it?
No, dude. I'm like, I haven't seen a movie in like 6 months or since Shang-Chi.
Wow. And I dragged you to Shang-Chi. The new Thor movie is out. So let's go back. Let's revisit. Go back from the tangent. The new Thor movie's out. Chris Hemsworth is in amazing shape. So there's a lot of shots in the movie where he's like, you know, in his great shape. And you and I know that before they shoot these shots, the actor go through probably rigorous they have like rigorous training program already with a very, very strict nutrition program that ensures that they have like the lowest body fat, body composition going into like set. But even before shooting, I think that I don't know if they've done it for Thor, but I've heard other actors in interviews talk about how they have to dehydrate themselves, much similar to a boxer prior to
really?
weighing. Henry Cavill, who played in The Witcher.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a scene in which like he's like, got to be half naked, got to be super ripped.
Yeah.
He said that he dehydrated for, I don't want to quote the wrong days, but like at least a day or two.
Yeah.
And he had like the bare minimum amount of liquid that he could have, so that the skin sits on the muscle.
Sure.
So that when he goes film, he looks extra ripped.
Yeah.
So when
He's already jacked though.
He's already jacked. So that's like you at a bodybuilding competition, in which you put like the tan or the oil to extra kind of solidify your physique.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone, except like it's done in a way that you don't think he's in a competition, you just see him in a movie, you're like, oh, that's just how ripped he is. And he is indeed very ripped.
Yeah.
But that extra image of him being so low body fat is not sustainable, is also not healthy in the long term. But when someone views that, or like when someone views us at our best on social media, you have this unrealistic expectation of like, oh, my body should look like that, or my life should look like that, and therefore if I'm not there, then I suck, or even someone who's more positive outlook is like, oh, like I still have a lot of work to do. It's like, actually, you're doing great, you're doing amazing.
Yeah, I feel like those are both negative.
But just like you're just kind of, you're competing with something that isn't realistic and sustainable.
Yeah.
And if you were to be put into those shoes and have the team behind you and have the time and effort, obviously you can do it too, but for a brief moment of time. It's very fleeting. It's not like something that you can carry with you. Yeah, it's like muscle pump.
Also everything like changes too. Like
Yes, indeed.
People change all the time, like looks too, and they, especially online, they won't see the seasons of their life. Like it shows like just one aspect, one characteristic that they felt was cool,
I think so too. What would you say is a perception that you think people have of you just by like seeing your reading, like listening to your podcast and like seeing your social media?
He does a lot of shit.
That's not true.
He does a lot of shit.
But you do a lot of shit.
No. That is true.
What is something
not
that
true?
What is something that people like? You feel like people may misinterpret or like.
I don't think about it.
Oh, you don't think about it? Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I don't think about it at all.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I think I learned not to think about it because I used to care so much about what people thought about me growing up, and I've built this callus over that to where like I
love that word, callus.
Callous my mind to like not even listen to any of those thoughts, and like no one has to give me permission to do what I want to do. Like you give yourself permission to do it. Like if you want to be this or do that, be, I don't know, a guy who is going to be a successful podcaster or someone who's going to start this company, like you don't need to have permission to be like, oh yeah, go ahead and do it, man. Like go ahead and try. No, like you just do it. Like you give your own self permission. You don't need to wait for anybody to tell you to do it.
That's really
like literally
great.
Buy that mic, go to the gym, start that walk, fry that frying pan to learn how to cook, just do it.
Nathaniel built everybody. Welcome to my TikTok. Wait, I like that. Callous my mind. Did you come up with that? Or was it David Goggins?
Goggins does it in like a little way. It was like, yeah, I calloused my mind because I was no bitch. Like all that shit. Like he does it very differently. I feel like that was a little bit more like laid back of that version.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I read it in that his book like changed my life too. Like it made me. I thought I was somewhat victimized. I was like life's still a little bit hard, and then I read Goggins' book. I was like, yo, my life was a fairy tale compared to that dude. Like his growing up, and I was like, I thought my shit was hard. Like everyone's hardest hard is their hardest hard. So like it might be the lowest point for you, but it might be the lowest point for me. But it feels the same lowest point because it's the hardest thing that's ever happened to them. So
Yeah. I'm waiting for more wisdom. I
I
love
love
it. I love it.
I wasn't trying to drop wisdom, bro.
You just do. It's part of who you are. A wisdom dropper.
Nah. I feel like it's just your paradigm that you come up with in life, because you have to choose to believe in something, and like obviously I came up with those ideas that I believe are somewhat true because it makes sense to me.
Yes, I think you, a very logical person. I think you take you take a lot of perspectives into consideration before you make a decision.
Yeah.
And so like if someone was able to convince you of something, then you believe in that.
Yeah. I'm very selective with my beliefs, because like there's so much bullshit in the news and stuff. You're like, oh, this thing happened because of A. The same thing happened because of B. The same thing happened because of C. The same thing happened because of D. I'm like, whoa, like which one's right?
That's true. I think people choose the news they want to hear nowadays, and
It's so confusing, because like I don't know about you, but I just think about all these things that are going on in the world, and I'm like, whoa, like there's so many perspectives. I'm gonna choose to like learn about all of them, but I still won't know which one's right.
It's kind of like in Dave Chappelle's
Oh, did you listen to his new thing?
I saw it. I want to watch it, actually.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
Love Dave Chappelle.
His the closer.
The closer is kind of similar to the live show that we went to in Vegas.
Dude, that was fun. That was cool.
That was cool. But he had a new one on Netflix in which he was giving a speech in his alma
mater.
Yeah.
Pronounce that one too.
Alma mater. Mata.
I'm fucking with you. Go ahead.
I love that you could tell I couldn't pronounce it. I was like, mata. But in one of his, I think The Age of Spin, one of the specials that he did, he talks about how nowadays, every day it's like a space shuttle exploding, because he was referencing an event that took place in American history where a space shuttle like exploded.
Okay.
And he said at that time, like his teacher will wheel out those TV sets, and then that was kind of like one of 3 news channels that you could turn to, and then he saw, or the kids saw that, and that was such a big, traumatic, and also impactful moment. But nowadays, with the access to technology, Twitter, internet, every day a space shuttle level event happens anywhere in the world. So there's so much. How can you care about anything if you have access to everything?
Yeah, no, it's scary too, because like, especially when I go home, like I have a lot of family members in just like old town or small town places. They just are so infatuated with the news, because like that's the only information that they consume most of the day. And so the only thing you could talk about is what you consume, right? And so versus me and you, right, or people, I guess in LA, or maybe just young people who are curious about life, we'll go work out in the morning, we'll go to a lunch, we'll go to maybe a convention, go to work, and then we're like watching YouTube videos between every single stop, and then we're listening to podcasts and listening to music all in this one day. And all this is a fucking like information bomb on you. You're like, whoa.
Yeah. and we find it hard to take in, like it's just, you don't know what to believe in.
Yeah.
Because it's information overloads, and if you want your perspective, there will be someone speaking your perspective.
Yes.
So you gravitate towards that. You're like,
yes, and if you're self-aware of that, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if I want to believe in this perspective, I'll just go to the channels and the sources.
And then you're like, all these things make sense. It's you're searching for it.
You're consuming that.
You
so
know?
It's hard to find an objective platform. That's why, like, I don't know if you saw this HBO series a couple of years ago. It's called Newsroom.
Mm-mm.
It was a TV show. It was written by Aaron Sorkin.
Don't know.
He wrote Molly's Game.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, you love Molly's Game. He also wrote The Social Network, the Facebook movie.
Okay.
So one of my favorite writers, actually.
Yeah.
Because he just makes, like, think about Social Network, that movie. It was really like good pacing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the plot of the movie is like him coding, or like making like this website comparing like female college students to farm animals. It was like the offensive thing that Mark Zuckerberg did.
Yeah.
And then he made that whole like him drunk coding a very exciting moment. When in reality, coding is not like a very cinematic moment.
No, not at all.
And Molly's Game is about like, you know, you've seen the movie. It's about like an Olympian level or qualifying level like skater who ended up building the biggest card game like
Illegal backhouse
card game. It was legal for the longest time because you never took a stake.
Yeah, because if you don't take a stake, it's just like the players trading money.
Right,
Yeah.
but she got to the point where it was so exclusive that if somebody don't pay up, it would just fall apart. So that's what she took a stake in.
Yeah.
So if like Aaron Sorkin was able to make those moments where like people were like putting cards on the table, which again is not a huge cinematic moment, like very very exciting. The pacing was tight.
That shit feels good, bro. You need to play poker to feel that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like you don't know the emotion of like the actual card game because you never actually.
I never played it.
You never played it.
Yeah.
All the emotions that we're feeling are like deep cinematic stuff and like intenseness. Like
okay, let me rephrase.
That's accurate.
The beginning of the movie is her, Molly, the actress who played Molly, narrating what is the worst thing that could happen to you in the Olympics, and somebody said like coming in fourth place.
Yeah.
And then she describes how her like life altering injury, and it was, you know, skating, but a lot of the shots were her narrating.
Yeah.
And when you and I narrate something, it's not the most exciting moment. Like I can't really make a movie out of Nate narrating for like 10 minutes.
Maybe, I don't know, we never tried.
Maybe we haven't tried, but it's Aaron Sorkin's magic lies in the fact that he's able to turn those moments that's not hugely cinematic, like not action packed,
Sure.
but into something that's very intriguing. Like it makes you like
Want
on
to
the
pay
hook.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wrote this show called Newsroom, and it was about people, a lot of people working in this made up news agency. I guess it's a reference to either CNN or Fox or whatever. But they wanted to uphold a certain level of integrity. You probably seen the viral video circulating on the internet, like I don't know, like it made a comeback, but it was like this guy answering an interview's question like what makes America the best country in the world, and he's like, America's not the best country in the world, and he goes on this rant. I don't know if you've seen that clip.
No.
That's from the Newsroom.
Okay.
And he's like, well, America ranks this in life expectancy, not number one. America ranks blah 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 in capital GPT, like GDP. So like only two things America leads the whole world in. It's the amount of people incarcerated per capita and the amount of people that are religious and believe in Christianity. So so he was able to like bring out these stats, and that was not like a real interview. It was a interview in the show from the Newsroom.
Yeah.
It's a really, really captivating like show, and it was all about integrity in a platform that distributes information.
Yeah.
Because if there's no integrity in how you distribute information, you're not having a well-educated electoral like audience.
Yeah.
Then when people are voting, they're just voting based off of information that's not entirely accurate.
That's the whole thing with the Twitter thing with Elon Musk. I think it's holding off because there's questioning that like bots were like a huge part of statistic, like a large part of like statistics were like bot accounts.
I actually haven't been following that. I know that Twitter's suing Elon for.
I don't know about that either. Yeah, I don't know.
So what is the?
From what I understand, it's just this. I'm not caught up on it completely, but a couple months ago, there was like an article or something that said something along the lines that the attention isn't there from like followers. Like a lot of them are like fake bots that are like liking or like retweeting and stuff, and so the statistics aren't like.
Oh, like the users on Twitter, a lot of them are bots.
Yeah.
Okay.
And therefore, like.
So Elon Musk was like.
Like this, the stats weren't accurate type of deal. Like, I don't know if I wanted it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So like he found out that a lot of the users are not real users.
Yeah. I mean, Twitter. I don't know if it's 100% accurate. That's what it's like. It seemed like.
Okay. I guess I was wondering why. I'm gonna read more into it too.
Yeah, I'm definitely not well read on it. This is just like everything that I hear is either from people who they put their attention on just news, and I'm like,
Kiana?
cool, yeah. And then
Shout out to Kiki.
and then at work or like at the bar when everyone just doing small talk about like news, who's dating who celebrities fucking who, like that shit.
Who is dating who, Nate?
I don't know.
Nathaniel Biltz.
Oh, I found out today that Khloe Kardashian and her ex are like having another kid with a surrogate.
Who's her ex?
Fuck, I don't remember.
I'm so like, yeah.
I feel like you pay less attention to the news than I do. Like,
I really, yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, there's certain things I pay attention to.
dude, it's because like you and all your power and me and all my power like can't do a lot to like make it change. You know,
Yeah.
like the biggest thing that I think you can make an impact on, again, going back to the circle thing, is like
people around you.
the people around you. And how do you do that? By being a good person, by working hard, doing all these things, and doing some sort of positive impact that they might do the same thing for someone else.
Yes, I agree.
You know,
And I think that's where I like to focus more of my attention. That's where you focus most of your
Yeah.
attention too. So, yeah.
so what are you doing after school's done? Like you have one more year left.
One more year.
In the curatorial arts program, right?
Yes.
And do you have like a game plan, or is it just like obviously you're gonna learn a lot and you're gonna meet a lot of creative people and the networking's gonna be like out of this world because it's USC.
Yes.
But what's life in a year look like? Or I mean, I don't like asking that question because I don't like asking myself that question. But like, where do you think the direction is after the next year, or in general, like through school or after school?
That's a great question. I think one thing I learned from being in the program is that the curatorial world is very underpaid. Also, like,
In what way? Why?
well, for example, if you graduate from a curatorial practice program, naturally, I guess most people assume that you want to work in an institution like a museum setting.
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking to one of my friend Austin, who is an upperclassman, and Austin told me that I think there's a museum in Chicago in which there's an entry-level position like a curatorial assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I think you make, I'm paraphrasing, so, but it's along the range of like $18 an hour or something.
Okay.
Give or take like a couple of dollars. But you can't live off of that. Not at all. Not with student loans and everything and the cost of living nowadays. And in those positions, and it's not like you work in a curatorial assistant position for a couple of years and then you would just be promoted to a curator. In the field of curatorial practice, you kind of, instead of moving vertically, you move horizontally. You go to like a different institution.
Why does that make sense?
Because I think a museum of caliber or a museum of reputation like a LACMA or the Getty, they are very, they gatekeep a lot. And so, you know, at the end of the day, the board directors of those museums are older white people. There's nothing wrong with older white people, but they tend to have a certain point of view and perspective.
Sure.
And also, these institutions would rather maybe go out of the way to look outside of their current staff to hire a known curator and bring them. It's kind of like a trophy. They would bring like a trophy curator into the museum to kind of like advertise their, you know, their institution rather than promoting staff from within. So that's why people don't really move vertically. You will move horizontally and then you have a breakthrough.
Yeah. So what's your conclusion with that, now knowing that?
It's that maybe I won't work in an institution after I graduate, like a museum. But of course, it depends on the opportunity.
Yeah. Is photography like a big part? Like, would you still like photography a big part of your life or no?
I would. I think after graduation, I think my life... I think the curatorial, I don't think I would be a curator full time. I think I would love to curate shows and like work with artists whom I vibe with and they vibe with me on like personal and individual projects and like alternative art spaces. But that would be like a part-time thing. Of course, like it could always be full-time if the right project comes along. But I think like it goes back to living like a non-traditional 9 to 5. I think I would love to revisit my business idea of
Wait,
like
you not live in a traditional
9 to 5.
Yeah.
So having like multiple passions but like juggle it in a way that's efficient. So like, you know,
dude, I don't know. A 9 to 5 somewhat sounds like kind of romantic to me because
it does.
Because like we were just talking about how our sleep schedule is completely messed up, right? And like
yours is because you're working hard. Mine is because I'm finally finishing summer classes. I'm just going crazy right now, and I don't know what I'm doing.
No, but in general, like you've always had even when you were working at F45 and going to like the
we would stay up late maybe for some thing, and
we
then
always
wake
we
up
haven't had
early.
like a very steady like sleep schedule, and I feel like the benefit of it, because I did it in college at one point, like you'd go to bed every day at like 10:30, 11, wake up at 5 or 6, like get your workout in, do your work. And then the thing is about like a traditional 9 to 5, if like you're just fulfilled by that one job, like you cut off and then just relax. Like you enjoy yourself, you stretch, you watch a movie, you hang out with friends, family, kids, whatever you're doing, and then you repeat it. And that's kind of like the perfect day for you. And for you and me, like it sounds romantic just because like, oh yeah, sleep's gonna be great. Hang out with friends, not stressing about like a project or a job. And me and you are over here like, we're gonna work out at 4 a.m. We're gonna sleep for a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go over here, do this photo shoot or bartending like 3 hours away, you know, and like
do a podcast at 8 at night.
Yeah, you know, and it's our ideas keep on going because I think we're both like pretty creative and we think a lot about like these subjects, and we don't really have like an off button where we're just like, oh, we're gonna relax. Like it's like
until the body gives up.
Until the body gives up, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna do as much as we can until we can't. But even when we're just like when I'm lying down, I'm just thinking about like yesterday. I was thinking about like who to have on the podcast, like creative ideas, like when am I gonna start like taking photo classes so I could get this camera up and working a little bit better, make the quality better, you know? You know?
Yes.
So it's weird.
Yeah, I think we really have an off button, and that's why like
we don't have an off button. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And I was in summer school. I was in a class, and it was a field trip based class. Mm-hmm. We had like I was going back and forth between LA and the Central Valley to this town called Allensworth.
Kev's been closer to Fresno than I have this whole year.
Yeah, I've been to Fresno. It was right before Fresno, but past Bakersfield.
Yeah,
close to Delano, and I went there for like several times, and the last trip was about 5 days, and we were staying in Delano because Allensworth, the town that we're kind of working with, they're unincorporated. They don't have a area code. They don't have the amenities, hotel like and stuff like that for us to stay in, and they don't even have concrete pavements, except for the park. They have a national park, yes. But the park is so Allensworth is like an all black town, historically all black town, founded by Alan Allensworth, who's a cardinal. Colonel. COLONEL.
I have no colonial.
No, not colonial. Sorry. What's the rank in the army? I just can't pronounce the word. Colonel.
What's your point about this story?
Oh, I'm just giving the introduction to Allensworth, shouting out Allensworth. Colonel Alan Allensworth, he founded it with other people too, but he was, according to like families of the people who originally settled there, he got picked as the face of the town because he was the lightest skinned member person. Oh, okay. And but anyway.
Oh, you're just shouting out Allensworth.
Yeah, the town was like very successful at one point, but then the neighboring like white towns kind of, according to, it's an urban myth, but a lot of the local residents and like oral history has stated that like the neighboring towns, they kind of poisoned the water source. So there's a high level of arsenic in the water and the groundwater too. Shitty. So yeah, so right now it's the makeup of the town is different. I think the population is around 200 people. And we work with kids from Allensworth and also the neighboring town from Delano to Alpaw. They're all like anyway, the kids are very like wholesome and creative and just and they also work.
What was your purpose for going out there during the summer?
Okay, that's a great question. Our class I'm just gonna speak vaguely on this, but our class out there was supposedly like a project in which we work with high school students on creating art-based projects and art-based learning. And it was kind of all as an attachment or like framed in the lens of environmental health with the UC Berkeley project. And, but we were working with kids and we were like making TikToks. But
dang, Kev got probably better dance moves than I got now.
it's not the TikToks that you would think that TikTok would be, but I guess the deliverable was that we have to deliver some TikToks in the brochure.
Got it. So they were like talking about.
It was more PSA. Yeah. It was more like, let's be honest, it's more like video shot in the aspect ratio of a TikTok.
Sure. Yeah. Got it.
So the kids we work with, they're so amazing because they do so much. At first, like I could tell that some of them are like not really into the program 100%. But then I was like, okay, these kids work 4 a.m. They're like on the farmland helping their family out, some of them.
Sure.
And probably like worked a couple of hours before they even come to work with us.
Sure.
And then when they go home, they have like siblings and family to take care of. They're like working.
Does that put shit in perspective, bro? Because like I think about that quite a bit in terms of just like how lucky I am to not have that 100%. That pressure, that responsibility, because no one really depends on me. Like I don't have dependents, you know, and like I'm lucky enough that my family's healthy, and that I don't need to take care of them at this point in their life, and I could do whatever I want when I want to do it. And you think of that as granted versus people, you see people in these communities and you're like, wow, shouldn't bitch about anything.
I honestly, they've inspired me a lot. And that's also the joy that they carry with them, like in every day, is that, we were learning and kind of like talking about all of our day to day, and they just have a very positive attitude. And honestly, when I was in Delano, staying in the hotel there, in the morning we would like work with the kids maybe till like noon, and then we'll debrief, and then we'll meet them on ourselves, and then I would get done with my day around 2 or 3 p.m. and then I would have the rest of the day open until the next day. And I would just go to like Planet Fitness.
Oh, you stayed there, huh?
I stayed there for
How many days straight?
It was 3 separate trips. The first time was 1 night. The second time was 3 days. The last time was 5 nights.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
you really learned. You really got to experience it.
Yeah, the Central Valley for sure.
Yeah.
And
this is why Kev was saying, I thought he was just going to Allensworth for a day and then like coming back and then going back a day there. Like if you're staying there, you're getting cooked. Yeah. It's like 110 degrees over there.
It was more than 110 degrees. There was no shade. Holy crap. And so
the tan looks good on Kevin though, guys.
Thank you so much.
Just comment his tan looks good, so like we get some brownie points, you know.
So
no comment.
So like you said, you and I, we don't have like people depending on us in that way, and so for them to carry that responsibility at such a young age definitely put things into perspective. So when they get done with their project with us, they go on to like work and take care of their family and do what they need to get done. So I was like, well, like I was very productive in my couple of days in Delano and close to Allensworth. I went to like Planet Fitness and actually met some of the kids there because they were working out too. They have like a free summer program there. I think the high school students get like a free summer pass.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Was it a good gym? Yeah, you got some weights to work with?
Honestly, Planet Fitness is a very interesting gym. It's like it's pretty big. They don't have any free weights.
Okay.
I called them ahead of time because I'd never been to the Planet Fitness. I've heard about it, and I was like, "Hey, do you guys have like barbells and like squat racks and free weights?" And then the person who picked up the phone was like, "Yeah, we do." And I was like, "Okay, bet." And then I went, and it only has Smith machines. That's the squat rack that they were talking about. Yeah. So I tried to do front squats with a Smith machine.
That doesn't work that well. It kind of does.
No, it does not.
I've never tried, so.
Like especially when you go heavy, it limits your range of motion. in a very awkward way, to the point where like I changed my workout completely, just did back squat instead.
Yeah, but if you think about it though, it's going in one line, and you theoretically that bar's
not for front squat in
It's
reality. Like, think about front squat, the mechanic of front squat.
Okay.
The bar is actually not entirely travel, like very strict
Straight.
180.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like a C.
Yes.
It's kind of like a C.
So for back squat is more like
back squats,
more so.
I feel like back squats definitely like straight up and down.
Yeah, so I switched up the workout because it was supposed to. Shout out to my trainer, Little T Fitness. She gave me a program. So I
Come on, Tay.
Come on, Tay. So I switched the program to like back squats, the back squat day, and they had this thing called a lunk alarm. Have you heard of that?
No.
There was a massive alarm in the middle of the wall. The branding is so like anti-gym, bro. But it was like and it was all purple. Why did we pick purple as a color? And it was not like the beautiful type of like lavender purple. It was like deep saturated, like dark
Cav
purple.
got culturized by the Central Valley guys.
And I was like, I kind of don't get it, but it's like not bad, but it's also like, why?
Yeah.
And then they had this lunk alarm, and it was basically, lunk is like a person who's like grunting in the gym.
Okay.
I learned that.
Oh.
So that alarm, I don't know if it actually goes
grunt
off.
or lunt?
Lunk. L-U-N-K.
Lunk.
A lunk alarm.
Dang.
And then it says like, don't be that guy or something on the wall. And
That's hilarious.
And I was like, that's so funny. But
So
people there are like pushing like these like really good weights, and they had like everything except for free weights.
Yeah.
And they even have a little calisthenic-ish area. I was like, okay. But they have a lot of machines.
It's probably not a lot of people there.
It was packed.
What?
It was packed to the brim. I went during the middle of the day, so technically it's off-peak hours. Yeah. And it was packed.
That's wild.
And I had to like wait for the Smith machine like several times. And you like literally have to like talk to somebody and like,
most people in that area, that's weird, or at least a little bit maybe north of that, goes to this gym called GB3, and it's one of the nicest gyms like ever. Like,
where is the base? Where's that?
Central Valley.
Like which city?
Fresno, Clovis, I think Madera. So it's like probably 30-40 minutes away from Delano, probably.
Got you. I didn't want to drive that far, so I think I picked like Planet Fitness because it was like 10 minutes. Yeah. 10-12 minutes.
So yeah, those gyms like came up. Like, I went to high school with the guy who started those gyms.
Oh really?
Yeah. It's weird, like the fitness and Fresno's how I got into fitness. Like, I started powerlifting with this like powerlifting group of guys at the gym, and I think we were very similar. He was like, oh, another Filipino dude, like, let's work out. Or maybe I said that. I don't know, but and I learned how to like squat and deadlift like properly.
That's nice.
And bench press.
You do have really good form.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's like.
Oh, so UCLA wasn't the program that the personal training program wasn't the one that taught you your form. It was Fresno.
No, yeah. Okay. I mean, my form definitely got better when I learned at UCLA. Obviously just practice and stuff, but like, yeah, like I would say like I see the tiniest things in a squat, bench, or deadlift, or even cleans. Like, I know I'm not extremely good at it, but I feel like I understand the body mechanics and the form of it very well, that like if you have better mobility than I do, I could cue you into a really good spot.
You do have very impeccable cueing. I think that's one, like, of all the trainers I've like either worked with or like have known, your cueing is like really on point. And you're right. If someone has better mobility than you, you can really cue them into, like, you can achieve a perfect form too. I feel like, but your mobility sometimes is what's limiting. Yeah. But your mobility is still like better than average by a lot. It's just like you're talking about like people who are like gymnasts and dancers who can like have perfect, like, great mobility. Sure. You can cue them into like the perfect Olympic or powerlifting.
Yeah, no, and like it's cool to see too, because that's one thing I love about personal training. I used to think about it as a job, about how like, but then I started thinking about it as an art, because you're creating like programs that are changing people's bodies, right? Mm-hmm. So like this program, this thing that you made, this creativity, this art piece is helping influence this other art piece, which is like the human body. You know,
that's a very beautiful way of looking at it,
right?
Yeah.
So my point to that was, what was I saying about, why did I bring that up?
You used to think of personal training as a job, but now you see it more as an art.
Yeah, why did I bring that up?
We were talking about you being really good at cueing, and if someone has good mobility, you can like cue them
Yeah.
perfectly. Yeah.
And
You learned it in Fresno, and then you went to UCLA, and it kind of bettered.
yeah. So I think of it as an art, and yeah, that's why I enjoy personal training. That's what was a part of it, because it's not really a job. You're kind of like learning these forms. If you could learn it perfectly, it's going to make you stronger. It's going to prevent you from osteoporosis, like have better mobility if you work out too, because like a deep squat, like you're stretching your hips, all these things. Like there's so many people who can't go past parallel, like just sitting down, like have a hard time getting up. Like I have a hard time getting up from the ground sometimes, and I was like, I'm a pretty fit guy, and like I am relatively mobile and all these things. I was like, can you imagine someone who like doesn't work out at all, hasn't moved in like years?
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. Yes. I think that's why like it's really impressive that you work with people in different like level. Whereas like I don't think my clientele have had a broader range in terms of like conditioning and mobility level than you have. I'm used to working with like athletes.
Yeah.
I feel like you've worked with people who are like your client who is 65, who like is now kettlebell swing like.
Not 65, 56.
56. I knew there was 5 and 6 in there, but like it's like working with kids or working with like older or like people who are a different conditioning level presents a unique challenge, because there's certain things that you just. If it's a fit person with great mobility, you have a range of freedom to kind of program.
Yeah.
But when the vocabulary is limited by their conditioning and also mobility and also just kind of like risk reward ratio, like I think it's a tougher programming job and a tougher training job to do that. But it's also like a good practice for a trainer to kind of engage in those challenges and still reap the rewards for your clients.
Yeah, and to see like those different aspects from that great range is like firsthand. You get to see like how certain body types, certain age ranges like perform or what they're capable of, because like it's usually pretty similar. Like there's going to be that outlier out there who's 65-year-old lady who's swinging 50-pound kettlebells for 30-40 times, you know. But
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why did we start talking about personal training?
Yeah, I think we just got here. This is us finding a tangent. Yeah. What would be okay? What do you have? What's a good closing question?
Closing question.
Yeah.
I got a lot more things. Real quick. What are you most excited for in your life right now?
Most excited for my life. Wow, that's a good question. What are you most excited in your life?
Yes, you first.
Can you give me an answer so I can inspire me to think?
I mean, dude, I'm excited about everything that I'm doing. Like everything that I do now in my life, I'm very blessed to be very excited about. This podcast, looking forward to hanging out with you and talking. Like I was most excited for that, but like this morning it was like going to run the stairs and working out with a friend. Then I was super excited for Chipotle. Then
shout out to Greg.
You know, shout out to Greg. I was excited to eat Chipotle. Then I was excited to edit Brandon's podcast, and then I was excited to stretch, and then I was excited to see you. Like everything that I do like is pretty exciting, except for like boring things. Like the legal stuff with Inspirit Bitters, you know, those things.
Wow.
Yeah, but like I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it a goal to
be excited about. Yeah,
almost everything that you do. Maybe obviously you're not excited to like wake up early or do whatever, but like for the vast majority of things, you know.
Wow, that's a great answer. I guess I'm most excited in my life right now about I'm most excited about kind of transforming my body this summer. I wanted to like put in some serious work. Yeah. I kind of last weekend up until like maybe 2 days ago.
Why do you want to transfer your body?
Just because I feel like I know how hard I can go. Yeah. And I've been going at like 60%. Yeah. And just going through the motion, and like I have the resources and the time to transform my body
in the way that you would like it.
I would like it to be. And I'm kind of like as a trainer, I think like we're both in great shape, but I think I could be in like really amazing, phenomenal shape to the point where people look at me and they're like, I want that trainer. Not that that's definitely a motivating factor, but I've always like just admired people who like go crazy, like Darnell or Kuba, and I feel like I can get there too. I just have to like, honestly, it's just consistency. Like I've when we were in COVID, there was like
Kev always talks about this.
Am I wrong? Like
Say it first.
We were, because of COVID, the nature of COVID, we had like a home gym. And then we had like a squat rack. We had like adjustable
honestly bare
dumbbells.
minimum stuff though. Like
there was a bench squat rack that allows us to do like Olympic stuff, clean squats, deadlifts, bench. I said bench already, but we also have those adjustable like dumbbells, and then the bench is adjustable too. And so we made the most out of that. And
that's basically it. I mean, it was way better than any other. I mean, home COVID gym that I knew of.
Yeah. And we also had a lot of friends who come through to work out with us. And we were doing like, we also got introduced to F45 around that time, but we're still like lifting heavy and going to F45. So it was a combination of like cardio intensive hit plus added with freaking weightlifting, heavy weightlifting. Yeah. And then we were like PRing or like hitting like hard stuff. And then we're doing like hill sprints.
And we're doing pull-ups like every day.
And every Saturday we had like our friend Kubo come here. And
it was the best shape that I think I was ever in my life, and Kev probably thinks him too.
I had like definitely 8% body fat, and I was like heavier than I ever have been. I was always around like 165 to 175, and I was like getting closer to 180. Yeah. And then we were like in phenomenal shape, and it just came from consistency. And then since then, like you know, like you got a job at Soho House, and then you moved from that to Lavo, and you also like you moved out, and you also have a girlfriend who has incredible metabolism. Shout out to Kiki, but also likes to eat a lot of things. Yeah.
And he's basically saying, my girlfriend makes me eat bad food.
You know I love you, Kiki. It's just like we got busy in life, and then we also, because we ate the cleanest when we lived together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So that, we both know nutrition is a big part of it. So I feel like with nutrition, with how busy we got.
We were on our supplements too.
We're on our like multivitamin. Yeah. Not that I recommend multivitamin. I think specific vitamins might be better, but apple cider vinegar, fish oil, omega-3.
So like,
I feel like I just need that. I just want to go back to that because I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed walking out every day and like being like, I felt like I put in work yesterday and I look like my best self and I feel like my best self.
What do you think is important about that? About feeling that you are?
It's the confidence I carry.
Self. Okay.
Because you know me, like there's this video I posted on my Instagram. It was this bear dancing, and I was like introvert at home. And like at home, but when I'm by myself, I'm like very like comfortable. And with like you and like my close friends, I'm very comfortable. Yeah. But in like social circles and like bigger crowds, I'm just like, and I want to be.
But you go out sometimes, like you do the going out thing. Yeah.
But when I go out, it's usually with people, close friends. Yeah. So when I'm with them, I feel comfortable. Sure. I could be my silly self, and I just know that like I have my circle. But I rarely go out by myself. I don't ever, in fact. Yes.
I rarely do. Sometimes like sitting in a bar and chatting and getting a drink.
I want to, because it's so like movie-esque. It's like walking into a bar
it's not just that, bro. Like I think of it as practice, because like these conversations that I'm having with people, like I don't think I used to be that good at it, and now I think I like flow things better, and like it's practice. Like you sit down at a bar and you're forced to talk to the person left to you, the right of you, and to the bartender about who knows what about anything, but then you end up talking for like 4 hours, and you're like there's something that you connected there that made that conversation last that long.
You're right.
And that's practice. That's so many words that are coming out of your mouth this entire time. Like you're thinking about it. You're trying to describe your idea and you're trying to portray it.
So to answer your question, I think it's the same logic as that. I feel like when I have a great workout, I feel
back
great.
To there you go.
Yeah, I feel I'm confident because I crushed something that I like put an effort in. And also aesthetically, like
Like
not
you
to be
see,
superficial,
you see a direct,
you see a direct result because
Yeah.
like muscle pump is real, and also like the endorphin is real. Like when
Yeah.
you have a post workout feeling, you always get that euphoric feeling, and that endorphin release definitely carries me through like post workouts. Like I like to kind of before we go out, we always like to work out.
No.
Not like right before, but like before, like okay,
Kev wants the pump right before we go out, and I'm okay with this. Like,
okay. I do like the pump before we go out because I hardly ever go out, so when I go, I want to look
Also,
my best.
Kev's pump is like me. Like, I'll get like maybe like just a hair of like, oh, okay, like this dude feels like hard, or like his shoulder is like relatively big. Kev turns into like the Hulk when he gets his pump, dude. Like, I don't know, we were hitting the arms the other day, veins from his like fingertips to his shoulders. I was like, who is this man?
I do have a really good pump,
Dude, you got an extremely good pump.
I don't know what it is. It's probably biology or whatever it is. I am veiny. But all of that is to say, not like right before going out, but thanks for telling the world that. I mean, it's true, so I'm not gonna deny it. It's true. I love it.
Yo, you are who you are. Be confident, in it, bro.
But I think, true or not true, like before we go out, say like if at nighttime we know we're going out, during the day when you're free, we would like to hit a workout in is what I meant.
Sure, usually. I mean, we kind of like working out every day though.
Because we don't like going out without worked out that day.
I mean, I don't think I've ever come to that conclusion. I just like working out every day.
Okay, but
Yeah.
have you ever gone out and not worked out that day at all?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Oh, okay. And you're okay. For me, I don't like that.
Yeah. I
Because-
also wear like
Because
the
when
same black shirt and same black pants, and so like,
you do, okay. So hear me out. So you know the reason I don't drink.
it's mostly because of fitness.
Yes. So, but I have learned.
It's like
from,
probably 99% of fitness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I don't like the taste.
Okay. But
yeah.
like you've tasted plenty of good things that I've made.
Yes, you've made amazing. So you've taught me that you can enjoy alcohol and have fun in life.
Yeah.
And also, like,
I don't know if that's
A lot of-
sarcastic. It sounded sarcastic. But
No, it wasn't.
I'll take it how it is.
but you and I have both known friends who are in way better shape than I, who also drink.
Yeah.
And enjoy life.
Yeah.
So it's like it's
And
not
me. What are you talking
correlated.
about? Yeah, it's not. But
So-
I'm not. That probably makes it easier.
So
Like, I'm saying.
having worked out makes me more in my head. It's like a balance. It's like I worked out, so I get to
Yes.
enjoy.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, like I can have a drink here. Like I really put in the work today, so therefore I can enjoy. So that's another reason why I like to work out before I go out, is because in my head, you know how I think. It's like every time I drink something, I was like, oh, like I'm putting like fat in my body or like sugar or
Which
like
is
stuff like that.
also kind of like, because when I get high sometimes, or like when I'm just like in a mood, like if it's really, really happy or really, really, really sad, like I tend to eat like bad food. Like that's just like I'm self-aware of that, and I enjoy it. Like I will like, okay, like I'm sad, I'm happy, therefore I'm gonna treat myself to,
Yes.
I don't know, this bad food, and like I let myself do that. That's self-aware of me, you know. And for you, you're self-aware of it, and like you're disciplined in that manner. Like I would say that's one thing in your that when you compare disciplines, you're extremely better than I am at. Like
What?
the discipline of not like putting food that you know is bad for you inside you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yay.
And but like sometimes Kev thinks like fruit is just all good for you, and then he eats like a pound of fruit, and then there's a ton of sugar in that. But
Okay, but study has shown that naturally occurring sugar is better than synthetic
you're right,
sugar.
but sugar though. Like if you have a pound of sugar in you, it's still sugar.
Fruit comes with other things too. I like my cantaloupes and my watermelons.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
My blackberries. Yeah.
And then but for most of it, it's healthier. Yeah.
It's like snack will be my my fruit will be my go-to snack.
Yeah. And
Also, sour cream onion rings made out of lentils and rice from Trader Joe's is fire. Shout out to Trader Joe's.
wait, say that again.
Sour cream flavored onion rings, but the onion rings are not like
They're
fried.
lentils?
They're lentil and rice snack. And it's sour cream flavor. And it's in a green pack in Trader Joe's. And the nutrition value has like 11 grams of protein and a decent amount of sodium. Like
This is an ad for Trader Joe's, guys.
but it was so good, and it tastes like so amazing. So that's been my go-to snack lately.
Yeah. You think you're gonna stay in LA for a while?
To be honest, I think I've made the decision of like renting the house out. Like after maybe Taylor lived with I, and then I think
move where?
Find another apartment.
No, but LA.
LA.
Do you still plan on living in LA for the foreseeable future?
It could be, but I could be in San Diego or elsewhere. It doesn't have to be in LA. But
Why?
I'm gonna rent out the house for sure.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, do you like LA? Do you think you're gonna stay in LA?
I love LA, but honestly, I feel like I need to grow somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you make that conclusion?
Pretty recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's not like okay, like I can have a place in LA, like Kate, like how she moved to San Fran.
Yeah.
And then like but it's still coming to it, like, you know, LA will always be home because of the people here.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like understand how lonely LA can feel when you don't have a tight knit community.
Yeah.
So it feels extremely blessed and a privilege to be able to have people that I can like count on and like love. And I feel like even if I like move away from LA, I would be here like a third of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really like it here. You've done a little bit of traveling lately too, and that's probably why you made that conclusion too. Maybe.
Oh, wait, have I? Oh
yeah,
yes, I
you
have.
went to Atlanta. You went to in Fresno. You learned a lot of things there, or not Fresno area, Central Valley.
Yeah.
You're about to go to Vegas. You went to somewhere else. Where was that?
Dallas.
You went to Dallas. You know, you saw these different cultures kind of in a short amount of time. You're like, oh, like
I'm going to Detroit.
and Detroit too. Like, dude, you experienced LA for like 3 years straight, not going anywhere else in a smaller circle that was smaller than your original circle. And you were just like, that's like my community. I'm not going to expand because of like one, COVID, and two, like I'm just comfortable here. And then you were kind of like forced through school to go to Central Valley, like for your teeth to go to Dallas, like all these things. You're like, whoa, there's more to this life and world, you know? Like, I don't know. That's how I saw it when.
Yeah, there is. I feel like I'm still gravitating towards my group, whom I love. You know, I like, those are the only people I respond to text messages.
Sure.
And they'll always like be my like family.
Yeah.
But I have felt like maybe in grad school in the beginning, like the first semester, I was kind of like not kind of putting myself out there because there are amazing people in my program.
Yeah.
Whom I like got closer with, I think, this semester.
Yeah.
So just being able to kind of like, that's something I admire about you, is that you love your close friends, but you're always like putting yourself out there and meeting people and being very like confident in that. Yeah.
I don't know if it's confident. I think it's just curious.
But you're confidently curious.
Yeah, because like why would you be ashamed to like want to know something?
Bars. That was a bar. Why would you be ashamed to know something?
No, to want to know something.
To want to know something. That should be your Instagram bio. Why would you be ashamed to want to know something?
I'm serious though, dude.
No, I meant that like sincerely. That's a great line. Why would you be ashamed to want to like know and learn something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
like, you would learn something and like you said like I don't like to do things I'm not good at, which is true. I feel like as a kid,
everyone doesn't like to do things they're not good at though.
Yeah. Yes. But you really embraced the opposite of that.
What do you mean?
Like there can be a skill in which you know nothing about, but you're not afraid to be like to just do in front of people, and it could not look like the best, but you just keep practicing, and before you know it, I would
say like for a while I'll do it by myself, definitely. Like if you tell me like to go take a dance class type of deal, like I'll probably look up a few like lessons on YouTube and like fuck around with that.
This man literally one day during COVID was in his room for like. In the podcast room for like 3 hours or longer, and I was just
like
watching
5
like
or 6.
The Marvelous Miss Maisel on Amazon that this man put me on, and
Kev knows me probably better than almost any human being.
And he came out, he was like, "Yo, bro, do you want to see what I've been working on?" I was like, "Yo, what have you been working on?" And then he just hit this like street dance routine that you bought a class, right?
Yeah, it was like $10 on Playgrounds like website.
It was good. I was not gonna lie. I was like, holy shit, he got like choreography based learning is very like building arranging the vocabulary like street lights, like string lights, like you kind of arrange them, and you're like really like. I feel like maybe like in terms of putting the music on and just kind of freestyling, it's a different vibe. But like you're really good at like choreography based learning.
I think it's just because it's similar to working out, bro, and that's why I think I'm good at like
Yeah,
form.
you're really good. I was like, whoa, and I was like, damn.
It's because if you tell me to put a position for a weight, like a clean or like a deadlift, like hey, like a butt down, put a little bit more weight on your heels, like
Yes.
chin up, like it sounds like a dance move.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to play basketball a lot, and a lot of the dribbling, like the hezzy and then like crossovers and stuff like that. It's very like fluid,
Mhm.
and if you're a good dancer, like off the top of my head, like Chris Brown's a great dancer. He's a great
Dancer.
great basketball player.
Is he
too.
really?
He got handles. This man got handles. You gotta see his highlights. And I felt like him being like fluid and like being very like fluid and fluent in his dancing definitely helps him.
Sure.
And a lot of the great basketball players took like jazz lessons and stuff like that. And like a lot of
Style Bender does breakdancing, bro.
yeah, like it's great. It's a great addition to your craft. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy how he did the little avatar thing that I sent you for his last fight.
Oh yeah, I love Avatar. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Shout out to Aang and Katara.
Yeah.
Katara.
What do you think you so fascinated in Avatar? Because like,
I want to get Avatar tattooed.
no. Oh, I think that
four
would
elements.
fit you.
You think so?
I think that
You
would
don't think
definitely
it's too
fit
silly?
you. No. No, I think that's very true to who you are. Because like you probably talk about Avatar every single day.
That is true. I think
I'm dead
okay,
ass. Like
I
you
think,
compare
yeah.
you compare a lot of stories to that storyline because that storyline is like a very beautiful storyline, and like I feel like you relate to a lot of those people in it. Or
I really
those
do. I could
characters.
see a little bit of myself in all of the characters.
Yeah.
I could see, and they're like there's bit of everyone who's on Team Avatar.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you.
aspire to
Sorry,
be.
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, what do you find value? Because like, why is art and why is stories? I would say stories is art and art is stories. Why is art so valuable to you and so valuable to other people? Because like you will get an art piece and it will cost millions of dollars, right? And it's art. You will people will pay for it. But also there's like the intrinsic value of art. This made me feel this way. Like I feel love. I'm sad. I look at this painting. It makes me feel happy. You know? So there's that value. To you, like, why do you think people value it that way? Or why does art portray this emotion and financial, like, price tag?
I think there's like two separate questions in that, in the sense that I think those really expensive art pieces, usually most of the time will be object-based art, like a painting, sculpture maybe, but painting most of the time.
Nowadays, probably.
Yeah, that's why like one of the professors in my department said like if you want to be rich as an artist, be a painter, and I think that art has become a market for rich people to exchange money in. So that's like one part.
Yeah.
Because it is what you deem value to. Of course, there's like the legendary like level of artists like a Monet or, you know, those paintings will always have the value that they do. But there's also like a lot of fake and copycats. There's a documentary on Netflix. I forgot the name of it. Damn it. I'll let you know. Maybe you could put it in the caption or something. And it was about this very old historic gallery being caught selling fake and copycatted paintings.
Oh shit.
And then the person that was faking those paintings is a Chinese artist who is actually really incredibly skilled.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
these paintings, like millions of dollars were exchanged to like influential people.
Oh, wow.
This is one of the oldest galleries.
No way.
Yeah. And the curator or like the person who's kind of in charge of the gallery is still, after this whole debacle, she's now still working in the curatorial field.
Wow.
And still like, so, and she kind of got conned into it by somebody else, but in a way like, I think she should take responsibility
She still
for
participated
it too.
in it.
Yeah. So art, in a way, art is valuable because some art is valuable because the rich and the powerful deem it to be valuable.
And just because one of those people who has that status deems it valuable, it's valuable to other people.
Period. Like, and that's just how money is exchanged. And
That's wild because I didn't really think about that.
art is how rich people, or art, parts of the art or a majority of the art world has been utilized, has become like a foundation for rich people to store and protect their asset.
That
Like,
makes sense
because inflation and things can happen in the world in which money and currency could lose value, but art intrinsically can retain its value if not grow.
Or grow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's so interesting because I'll look at an art piece and I'll be like, that doesn't make me feel any emotion at all. Like I don't feel happy, sad. Like I don't feel anything. It's like, eh.
And the second part to your question is that there are lots of art, not just paintings, but paintings included, performance art, music included, that brings me that takes me on a journey and takes me elsewhere. That brings me a lot of feelings. And the reason why they're valuable to me from a personal perspective, at the end of the day, I think it's because I could see parts of myself in that, and I could relate my experience and my story in that. Whether it's like a song that really hits, it may not be the same story that I'm relating to, but somehow this song reminds me of a part of my life. Somehow this painting brings me into the world of like nostalgia or forward thinking, like about the future, or like it transports me to a different planet in which my own kind of thoughts and feelings are intimately tied with the creativity of this person or this group of people.
The art piece.
Yeah, and somehow me and the artist are like having a moment without physically being present with each other.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case. It's weird though because everyone is different.
Yeah.
You had a completely different background and story than I have.
Yeah.
And I feel like every human being has a different story, and it's gonna have a million or trillion different like ways of putting it.
Yeah.
But they will have one connection in this song that speaks to you. They will have one part of this painting that is like, whoa, Kev, hey, you're right here in this story, dude. And I'm like, whoa, like, and I find it in conversation too. That's why I really like talking to people. It's like, oh, I relate to you in this part of your life, and I feel like I lived that kind of segment of it. I feel like everyone shares like a little. That I feel like when people say like brothers and sisters, like I really truly like think that because they probably want something very, very similar than you did. Like when people in a different country are like, oh yeah, I'm from United States. No way, me too. What part? California? No way, me too. Like they enjoy it. Like when you're out and you're like, oh, what do you do, dude? I'm a personal trainer. No way.
Me
like,
too.
Me too. And you start talking about it and you drive, like that's part of their story, you know? And maybe that's similar ways to paintings and like songs and I don't know. I mean,
it is like an exchange of stories for sure. And I think that's why an artist with a good heart is like the perfect person that I would love to be friends with.
Or just surround
myself with, because
an artist with a good heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Have you always considered yourself an artist?
I don't think I consider myself an artist right now.
Really?
But I've been.
Why not? Because I think your photography is art.
Thank you. I think I've been learning to kind of appreciate it, just because I feel like some of it is more commercial, and like there's this like thing about like fine art versus like commercial art and stuff like that. But honestly,
regardless, it's still art.
Yeah, you're right. And I think like I consider my writing and poetry like more in that realm. But honestly, at this point, like, yeah, why not? Yeah, sure, I'm an artist. Yay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just asking because like I don't think I considered myself an artist until I think 3 weeks ago.
Oh, that's nice.
No, like, yeah. It was
Wait,
weird.
What happened 3 weeks ago that made you change your mind?
Nothing. I was just thinking about it because I would always get like compliments about things like from bartending or just the podcast or like working or like a trainer. And in my head, I think I'm bad at all of them. No, like I really do. Like sometimes, but that's like that whole imposter syndrome. And then one day I was like, yo, enough people have told you like you're decent at those things that like, in those creative aspects of life that you can consider yourself like an artist. Not necessarily like, I don't know, like a made it type artist, but like you live your life like an artist.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you read like old the Miyu Musashi book, it's The Greatest Samurai. It's like how you do anything is how you do everything. To be the greatest fighter, you have to be good at art, you have to learn poetry, you have to do martial arts, you know.
You did, that was something that you've taught me as a friend, as a roommate, is that how you do anything is how you do everything. That was like a great lesson that you left with me that I was like, wow. Yeah. You're like, how you make your bed is how you like live your life, Kev. And I was like, okay.
I didn't use the bed example, but
you did. You used the bed
did
example.
I?
Yeah. You're like, Kev, like,
I don't know if I agree with that anymore.
You don't?
No, I mean I do. My bed's fucking prestigious right now, but
Prestigious? You mean pristine?
or prestigious. You're probably right. Pristine probably sounds more better.
More better.
All right, this might have to end quick. I can't speak English, guys.
I mean, I feel like we had a great conversation. Is there any closing questions?
Yeah, no, dude. I'm just I don't think we talked about you much in terms of we just talked about like living together and stuff, which is fun. Like with your school and everything. Yeah, I just feel like I haven't like known, I don't know, all this stuff that you want to do or like what you're working on. I feel like I don't know what all that stuff. You didn't really get into that. I don't know if you want to.
Oh, that I'm doing?
Yeah.
Oh, like grad school?
No, like projects and stuff. Like what do you want to do? Like I don't know. Obviously, you talked about like the working out and everything, but honestly, we talked about a lot though.
We did. We covered a lot of bases. I think I'm like figuring out what the future post grad life will look like. But in the meantime,
yeah, I'm watching it like popcorn, bro. Because like I have my everything I want to do is pretty linear right now, all the levels, and I just have to like get better at it, and then it's dope. Like you're over here, like here's your level, and then there's like 10 pathways, and I'm just eating popcorn, and I'm just like curious. That's why I ask you all the time. I'm like, dang, what's Kev gonna do? I'm so curious because you're such an artistic dude. You're very good with people, like in terms of connecting. We talked about that, and those aspects just need to all come together, and I'm just interested in where you're gonna go.
Yeah. That's a great question.
Because like I feel like a lot of people learn from you. Like that's the biggest thing I feel like I had you on the podcast. Like you want your friends to do good things, and like you send out positive energy, and like I had the biggest epiphany, dude, like a week ago.
About what?
About you.
Oh, nice.
Because after I graduated UCLA, all my dentist friends moved out.
Yes.
Right. So I was stuck, and then I moved in with my neighbors. Right.
Yes.
Then out of nowhere, like I don't like Kev, who I didn't know at the time extremely well, like offered me a spot at his place. I was like, okay, cool. If that didn't happen, like the friendships that I would have, the connections I would have had, which led me to do this podcast, which led me to like have the opportunities I have, like bartending and all that, like might have happened, but probably wouldn't. I don't know. I just ran by that through, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh,
no, it's cool, dude.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, and like you're a very good friend in that way, and you're supportive, and like you're talented at the like photography, and talented at like life's just a people person in my opinion. Because like if you're better with people, you're just better at life, you know. And if you can articulate your thoughts in the way that you want them articulated in your brain, then that is you could communicate everything and all the good feelings and bad feelings, and nothing's like stuck in. But like with your talents, with your people skills, I was just eating popcorn and seeing where you could go, bro.
Well, that makes me feel honored, and I will take that responsibility not lightly. And yeah,
Any advice for
make sure it's a good show.
The people out here. So this is episode 51. Kev was my first episode, guys, and I just wanted to wrap it like all the way around because yeah, this is the beginning. Yeah, any
advice for the people?
Yeah. Go get jacked or what?
Yes, everybody. Working out is great for you, and stretching is great. So stay flexible.
Oh, Kev's about to knock out the splits.
I haven't stretched for a week, so I gotta get on it. But stretching is great. Mobility allows you to do a lot in life, and I feel like stretching is kind of overlooked by a lot of people.
We'll quote a little T. Hashtag mobility matters.
Mobility matters. Okay, that's it.
Bye.
Bye. Woo. That was great.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.